Hello everybody, it's Brad from Ukulele.com. It's kind of early over here, but I felt like making a video and I'm not quite ready to show my face today. So I figured I would make a little video demoing the different controls and sounds you can get from a reverb. And I just got a Line6 M5 stomp box modeler, and it's got some good reverbs in it, and that's what I've been mainly using it for. So I thought I would use that to give the example. So I'll zoom in on the control panel and you can kind of see what the different terminology means as far as controlling the reverb sound. So I'll do the demos on just a basic hall setting. You can do other stuff on the M5, but basic is better in most cases. My setup is as normal, just my ukulele into the M5 into a Roland AC90 acoustic amp, so you can hear the affected sound. Keep in mind that you will be hearing a little bit of my just normal ukulele sound bleeding through the camera mics, but that's how it is. It should give you a good idea what the different controls do. So right now everything is at noon. So the first control is called decay, and that tells you, or that dictates how long the reverb lasts. And if you set it short, the reverb doesn't go as long. It fades out really quickly. Or if you have it all the way up, it floats there for a long time. So I'll just leave it somewhere at halfway, so you can get an idea what the rest of the controls do. So that's your decay time. The second control is the pre-delay, which is how long the reverb is delayed past when you stop playing, or once your note is actually played. So it's not really a delay because the reverb is a big cloud of sound, more so than a delay is, but that pre-delay pushes the reverb off the original note, so there's a little bit of differentiation between the two. So right now it's at 100 milliseconds, and you can kind of hear, if I turn it up, you'll be able to hear when the reverb actually kicks in, how it jumps in after the note. So the longer the time, the bigger the feel of the reverb is, because if you're playing in a big room, then it takes longer for the sounds to come back and the reverb to come back bouncing off the walls or canyon or whatever. So that's kind of the idea behind that. So with 200 milliseconds, you can hear it fade in, and then as you turn it down, obviously it gets less noticeable. But it's a good idea to have a little bit, because it separates the original note from the actual reverb. So that's handy in making your notes a little bit cleaner. Because as you get down to the shorter times, this is without any pre-delay. It's just note, and then as soon as the pedal hears any sign of a note, it's adding the reverb on. So it's like there's no space in between the two whatsoever. So it still sounds good, but with a little bit of pre-delay, it just sounds a little bit tidier, I guess you could say. So I'll leave that at, say, 90 milliseconds, around there. And then the next control is tone, which is basically just like what you'd find on an amp. If you turn it up, you get more treble in the reverb. If you turn it down, you get more bass. Whoops, wrong knob. So you hear how that one's a little bit darker, yeah? And then bright. So again, moderation with that. I like it on the darker side actually, because it hides a little more. It's not as in your face. The last control is the mix, and that changes between your dry signal without any reverb to adding the reverb in. So it's basically just the volume of the reverb. And so you turn it up all the way, and your dry signal is actually completely erased. You get to a point where all you're hearing is the wet signal, or the affected signal, which is just the reverb. So you can probably hear what I'm playing, what I'm actually playing, just acoustic. But then you also hear the reverb fading in, and that's just the only thing coming out of my amp is just the reverb, no ukulele sound. So using those controls, you can kind of get some different sounds. Mostly the decay and the mix, you can kind of ride those two off of each other and get some different sounds. Like if you were to turn down the decay and turn the mix up, you can kind of balance things out a little bit. Or the other way around, if you want more decay, you can turn down the mix. So that's the basic of the different reverbs. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing if you like what I do, and I'll see you next time.